Tony Tone Show on Vintage Sound 93.1 FM on the MPW Digital TV Celebrity Hotline right now. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame drummer, ladies and gentlemen, Bun E. Carlos. Hello, sir.
Tony, how you doing?
Hey, Bunny, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for taking the time out this morning. I really appreciate it. I just got done playing a little bit of the song Him or Me off the new record, and it sounds fantastic, man.
Cool, thanks.
I tell you what, I can't wait to listen to the whole thing because that's the kind of album that we're kind of unique, Bunny. So we're in the great state of Iowa, like 3 hours from Chicago, and we have 100% local control of our playlist. So that's an album that we could play the entire thing if we wanted or add as many songs. So when that gets done, we'll definitely have to spin it for you, man. And I want to talk about that for a second. So greetings from Venezuela. How long of a process putting that together was it for you? Had it been like a couple months or a year or what?
It happened pretty quick. When in December, the Hall of Fame announced Cheap Trick was getting inducted, and I heard Cheap Trick was putting a record out to go with that, so I thought, I'll do the same. So I started the record in January and finished it at the end of March. We kind of went flying through it pretty quick.
Holy cow. That's fantastic. Yeah. Jeez, that never happens, right? I mean, I've never recorded an album, but that seems like record timing, I guess.
Well, way back in the dark ages, like in Cheap Trick, I remember Gene Simmons called us and said, get your second album done. You're going on tour with Kiss. We're going to take you across America and Canada. And we did the same on our second record. We went in and did the thing in like 2.5 weeks. So
wow. I've
had experience in doing an album at a fast pace.
So for you, Bunny, was the process, I mean, is it streamlined? Do you have a lot of control? I mean, it seems like you're kind of steering the ship on that, right?
Yeah, I was kind of like 100% total control, whether I wanted it or not. So I'd call up a singer and ask him if he wanted to do one of his songs or a song I had in mind, and sometimes I'd ask about a second tune, and book a studio in Chicago and call the band I work with in Chicago, or on about a third of the album, the band I work with here in Rockford, Illinois, and we'd cut 2 tracks at a time. So it worked well that way.
I love it. So I grew up in Oak Park, Illinois, so not that far from you. And when you go to the studio, how has that changed, I guess, over the years? Because it seems like there was, everything went digital, but then people wanted to record an analog and on tape. So for this record, Bunny, was it all digital or what? Yeah,
it was all digital. It was a lot more convenient than working with moving tape and trying to find 2-inch tape and the kind of machines you need to do that. But otherwise, the room hasn't changed any. The studio looked just like a studio did 40 or 50 years ago or 10 years ago. So, the only difference was you went on the screen instead of on a reel of tape.
Right. So for that process in putting the album together, did you pick a producer that you've worked with, or who helped you out with this?
The guys that ran the studios, Dan McMahon and Rick Barnes in Chicago, they're kind of de facto producers. They'd be behind the board, and we'd do a couple takes, and I'd just be yelling in there, how's this thing sound? Everything's sounding pretty good, and those guys mixed the record, and guitar player in each town would kind of act as a musical director if I needed a guy. I'd be like, what chord works best here, that kind of stuff, but. So if we're going to list producers, my name is on there, but you could have about 5 guys on there that could have been listed.
So my boss here at the radio station drums in a couple bands, and he wanted me to ask you because I believe that you're a Ludwig drum collector. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So talk about that for a second. Is it the kind of thing, Bunny, where you just have like a garage or a house full of drums, or do you have stuff that you just collect and you don't touch, or what?
Yeah, I've got an old horse barn on the back of my property, and I've got some shelving in there, so I've got the drum sets on there, and everything they've made since about 1920, you can put new drum heads on it and stuff like that and set it up and play it. So this stuff is pretty much all good to use if I wanted to. And with drums, the collectible value is what color are they or what finish are they in. That's what the guys collect, so... I have a bunch of drum sets, and they all look different from each other. So I'm assuming that are there some that you just don't play, or are you the kind of collector that you want it to be a functional collection? Yeah, there's a few from the 1920s and 30s. They're real valuable, and the parts are real hard to find. So I'm not going to rock out on them or set them up and take them to a club and start playing. But anything after about 1940, I set up and play. And usually the new kits sound the best because, well, they're made the newest and they're made the best. So those are the ones I usually take out and work with. It's the stuff that's just a couple years old.
Absolutely. I would be remiss if I didn't congratulate you on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Can you talk about that experience from your perspective?
Oh yeah.
Did you
thought that was never going to happen? And when I walked in the kitchen in December, my wife's like, "You're in the paper today," and the phone started ringing, and it didn't stop till the Hall of Fame ceremony was done. And it was a great honor to get in, and it was a lot of fun to go play a few tunes, with the other guys in the band because I hadn't done that in a while. And it reminded me when Tom came back to the band in 1987. We did a couple songs, and it was like, yeah, the stuff feels great, feels like it's supposed to. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So how is the relationship with Robin and Rick? I mean, is it friendly or cordial or what?
Yeah, when we're in the same room together, it's like we haven't seen each other in a few years, and everything's fine. And then when we're not in the same room, people were coming up to me out there, and did you hear what they said about you on Howard Stern? And they called you a bad name in Rolling Stone and stuff like that. And it's like it's a cheap trick tradition, If three guys are in the room, the guy that's not there gets nailed left and right. So they've probably been doing that for 6 years.
I don't understand how, because we're not getting any younger. So it would seem like, if you have something to say to somebody, you just say it to their face. I guess that's just the old adage, right? I mean,
well, that's the way we used to deal with things. And then as we get older, I don't know, we get more politically correct or something. I don't know. Suddenly people tiptoe around other people or something. But there you go. After 50 years, if someone has a little habit you don't like, it starts to grind on you a bit, and kind of went both ways on that with us. So.
Well, I tell you what, like I said, from what I've heard, Greetings from Bun E is great, and it is officially available today. So what are the plans for you, sir? I mean, obviously you got the record. Are you going to be doing shows throughout the course of the summer or the fall, or what?
Well, I do gigs with both bands that are on the record, but especially for the record, we have one booked in Chicago in July. I've got a couple of the singers coming in. Hanson's and Robert Pollard and Alejandro, they're on tour, so they can't make it. I've got Zeno and Alex Dozen coming in, and a couple guys that sing one song apiece on the record. And we're going to do a gig, see how it goes. If we get some requests, I know Milwaukee's called, some of the neighboring towns. So, yeah, we may do a few more gigs later in the summer.
Was it important for you to stay close in the Chicago Rockford area? Because for me, Bunny, if I had the opportunity to not see snow anymore, I wouldn't be opposed. But the Midwest has just kind of been the spot, huh?
Well, it would have been fun to go to L.A. and make the record, but for about a couple 100,000 reasons, it was a lot easier to do it back here. And so I did it back here.
I totally respect that 100%. And it seems like the Midwest has been good to you throughout the course of your career. And we were just in Chicago this weekend seeing my family, and it was great growing up there and having the opportunity to see so many great bands and go to some great venues like the Metro and Buddy Guy's and. It's interesting having conversations with people that didn't grow up with outlets like that in their backyard because, I'll be honest, I probably took it for granted a little bit, I mean, it's just a plethora of opportunities. So I hope I get to see you with the group, and the album is great, man. I really appreciate the time. Congrats. And just know that you have support at a radio station here in Iowa that will play anything that you put out moving forward, all right?
Cool. Thanks, Tony. Appreciate it.
Have a great weekend, Bunny. We'll talk to you soon, man.
All right. Be talking with you. Thanks.
See ya. Bye.